She told me, "You act like I owe you loyalty. I don't." I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, she arrived at my place at midnight, red-eyed, out of breath, asking if she could explain something. She couldn't bring herself to show me I'm Ryan, 32. And 3 weeks ago, I learned that the woman I'd been dating for 9 months had a completely different understanding of what our relationship was. When she showed up at my door in the middle of the night begging for help, I realized karma works faster than I ever expected. I met Claire last January through a dating app. She was 29, worked in graphic design, had this artistic vibe that I found attractive. We hit it off immediately, shared interests in hiking, cooking, old movies. By March, we were exclusive, or at least I thought we were. She'd spend weekends at my place. We'd introduced each other to friends, talked about taking a trip together in the fall. But around July, things started feeling different. Claire would be less available, taking longer to respond to texts, canceling plans last minute. When I'd ask about it, she'd say, work was busy, or she needed space for her mental health. I tried to be understanding. Everyone needs space, right? The breaking point came 3 weeks ago on a Saturday night. We were supposed to have dinner at my place. I'd made reservations at this Italian restaurant she loved, planned to surprise her. She texted at 5 p.m. saying she couldn't make it, wasn't feeling well. I was disappointed, but said, I understood, hoped she felt better. Except at 9 p.m., my friend Marcus sent me a photo. Claire at a bar downtown with some guy I didn't recognize. They were sitting close, laughing, his arm around her shoulders. Marcus's text, "Isn't this your girl?" I stared at that photo for probably 10 minutes. Then I called Claire. She answered on the 4th ring, and I could hear music and voices in the background. Hey, what's up? She sounded cheerful, not sick at all. Who are you with right now? Pause. What do you mean? I mean, my friend just sent me a photo of you at Hendrick's bar with some guy. So who is he? Another pause, longer this time. Ryan, I can explain. I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm asking who he is. He's a friend. We ran into each other and you told me you were sick. You canceled our dinner because you weren't feeling well. Now you're at a bar with your arm around some guy. So either you're lying to me about being sick, or you're lying about who he is, or both. You're being paranoid. Claire, I have a photo. There's no paranoia here, just tell me the truth. She sighed heavily. Fine. His name is Alex. We've been seeing each other. The words hit like a physical blow. Seeing each other while you've been dating me? We're not exclusive, Ryan. We literally had a conversation about being exclusive 4 months ago. You agreed to it. I agreed because you seemed to need that label, but I never promised I wouldn't see other people. You just assumed. I felt cold all over. So you've been dating both of us this whole time? I've been keeping my options open. There's nothing wrong with that. There's everything wrong with that when you let me believe we were in a committed relationship. Did you tell Alex about me? That's none of your business. It absolutely is my business. Does he know you have a boyfriend? You're not my boyfriend, Ryan. You're someone I've been spending time with. Stop acting like I owe you loyalty. I don't. I hung up, sat on my couch staring at nothing for about an hour. Then I blocked her number, blocked her on social media, and tried to process that the past 9 months had been a lie. The next day, I reached out to Marcus and asked if he could find out who Alex was. Marcus knew people, had connections. Within a few hours, he had a name, an Instagram profile, and some interesting information. Alex worked in finance, seemed successful, posted a lot about his lifestyle, and he was very clearly in a relationship with Claire based on his photos. Couple shots going back 3 months with captions like, "My person," and "best thing that ever happened to me." So Claire hadn't just been keeping her options open, she'd been playing both of us, making each of us think we were her primary relationship. I didn't reach out to Alex immediately. I was angry and hurt and needed time to think. I spent that week focusing on work, hitting the gym harder than usual, trying not to think about how stupid I'd been. Update 1. A week after that phone call, Alex posted something on Instagram that caught my attention. It was a photo of an engagement ring with the caption, "She said yes, can't wait to spend forever with you." Tagged in, it was Claire. They'd gotten engaged after 3 months of dating, or however long they'd actually been together if you subtracted the time she was lying to both of us. I stared at that post for a long time. Part of me felt sick. Part of me felt vindicated. If she was rushing into an engagement, maybe she wasn't as confident about her choices as she'd pretended to be. Part of me just felt tired. But I also felt like Alex deserved to know the truth. He was about to marry someone who'd been dating 2 people simultaneously while lying to both of them. That's not someone you want to build a life with. I created a burner Instagram account and sent him a DM. "Hey Alex, congrats on the engagement." I don't know if Claire mentioned this, but she and I were dating until about a week ago. We were together for 9 months. She told me we were exclusive while apparently also building a relationship with you. Thought you should know before you marry someone who lies this easily. I have texts and photos if you need proof. I sent screenshots, messages where Claire called me babe, photos of us together with timestamps, the conversation where she admitted to seeing both of us. Then I logged out and tried to forget about it. 2 days later, Claire called from a different number I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "What did you do?" Her voice was shaking with rage. I told Alex the truth. He deserved to know. "You had no right. I had every right. You lied to both of us. You let him propose to you while knowing you'd been with me a week earlier. That's sociopathic, Claire. He's calling off the engagement. He won't even talk to me. You ruined everything." "I didn't ruin anything. You did when you decided to date 2 people and lie to both of them. What did you think would happen? That you'd marry him and I'd just disappear and never say anything? I was going to tell him, when? After the wedding? After you had kids? You weren't going to tell him anything. You were going to keep lying because that's what you do." She was crying now. "You're a vindictive asshole. And you're a liar. Don't call me again." I blocked that number too. Update 2. I didn't hear anything for almost 2 weeks. Then, at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, there was frantic knocking at my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Claire standing there, mascara running down her face, looking panicked. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. "What are you doing here?" "I need to talk to you, please. I need your help." "Help with what?" "Can I come in? I can't explain out here." I almost said no, should have said no, but she looked genuinely terrified, and some stupid part of me still cared enough to let her in. She sat on my couch, hands shaking, trying to catch her breath. "Alex is threatening me." "Threatening you how?" "He found out about you, and he lost it. Completely lost it. He's been messaging me non-stop, saying I ruined his life, that I'm going to regret what I did. He showed up at my apartment today and started pounding on the door, screaming. My neighbors called the building manager. I'm scared, Ryan. I think he might actually hurt me." "Did you call the police?" "And tell them what? That my ex-fiancé is mad I lied to him? They'll think I'm overreacting. If he's threatening you and showing up at your place, that's harassment. You need to report it." "I can't." She was crying harder now. "There's something else. Something I didn't tell anyone." "What?" She pulled out her phone with trembling hands, opened her messages, showed me a thread with Alex. His messages were unhinged, calling her every name imaginable, saying she'd pay for humiliating him, that he'd make sure everyone knew what kind of person she was. Then she scrolled up to messages from before the engagement. My stomach dropped. "Claire, these messages, are you telling me he was threatening even before he proposed?" She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "He's been like this for weeks, ever since I tried to pull back a little. He started getting possessive, jealous, demanding. That's why I was still seeing you. I was trying to figure out how to get away from him without setting him off. Then he proposed, and I panicked and said yes because I was scared of what he'd do if I said no. So you weren't playing us against each other? You were using me as an escape route? I know how it sounds. It sounds like you put me in danger without telling me. If this guy is as unstable as you're saying, what if he'd found out about me while we were still together? What if he'd come after me? I didn't think. That's the problem, you didn't think. You just made choices that affected everyone around you without considering consequences. I stood up. You need to go to the police, show them these messages. Get a restraining order. But I can't help you with this. Ryan, please, no. I'm sorry you're scared. I'm sorry you got involved with someone dangerous. But you lied to me for months, put me in a potentially dangerous situation without my knowledge, and now you want me to what? Protect you? Fix this for you? That's not my responsibility. I don't have anyone else. My friends don't believe me. They think I'm exaggerating because I feel guilty about cheating. Were you cheating? Or were you trying to escape? She looked at the floor. Both, maybe. I don't know. I liked you. I liked him at first, too. Then he got scary and I didn't know how to leave. So I kept seeing you because you felt safe and normal, and I thought maybe if he knew I had someone else, he'd just let me go. That's not how dangerous people work, Claire. You don't make them jealous to get away. You run and you get help. I know that now. I walked to the door and opened it. Go to the police tonight. Show them everything. Get a restraining order. Then get a therapist because you need to figure out why you handled this the way you did. But I can't be involved in this anymore. She stood slowly, looking defeated. I really am sorry. For all of it. I believe you. But sorry doesn't fix the situation. Go to the police. She left. I locked the door behind her and immediately texted Marcus to let him know what happened, in case Alex somehow connected me to the Instagram message update 3. The next morning, I got a call from a police detective. Claire had gone to the station after leaving my place, filed a report, and given my name as someone who could corroborate her story about Alex's behavior. I spent an hour on the phone explaining what I knew, that Claire and I had dated, that she'd also been seeing Alex, that I'd sent Alex a message revealing the truth, and that she'd shown me threatening messages from him last night. The detective said they were taking it seriously, that Alex had a prior incident on his record involving an ex-girlfriend. They were issuing a temporary restraining order while they investigated further. Over the next week, the full story emerged through police interviews and social media posts from mutual friends. Alex had a pattern of controlling behavior in relationships. Claire wasn't the first woman he'd love-bombed and then turned possessive with. His ex from 2 years ago had filed a restraining order that eventually expired. He'd been to court-ordered anger management that clearly hadn't worked. Claire had legitimately been scared, but she'd also made catastrophically bad choices in how she handled it. Instead of leaving immediately and seeking help, she'd tried to manage the situation by keeping me as backup, which put both of us in potential danger. The restraining order was granted. Alex violated it twice, once by showing up at Claire's work, once by creating fake social media accounts to message her. He was arrested both times. Last I heard, he's facing stalking charges and possible jail time. Claire reached out one more time about 3 weeks after that midnight visit. She sent a long email apologizing, explaining that she'd started therapy and was working through why she'd made the choices she had. She said she understood if I never forgave her but wanted me to know she took full responsibility for putting me in a bad situation. I didn't respond. Not because I was still angry, but because there was nothing left to say. She'd lied to me, used me, and endangered me without my knowledge. The fact that she had reasons for it, even understandable reasons like fear, didn't change the impact of her choices. Final update. It's been 3 months since that night Claire showed up at my door. I'm doing okay. The whole situation left me wary about dating, but I've been taking it slow, being more careful about red flags, trusting my instincts when something feels off. I heard, through mutual friends, that Claire moved to a different city to get away from the whole situation. Alex is awaiting trial, his lawyers apparently trying to paint him as a heartbroken guy who just reacted badly to being cheated on. but the prosecution has his history with other women, so that defense isn't going well. The weirdest part of this whole thing is that I still don't know if Claire genuinely cared about me, or if I was just a convenient escape plan the entire time. Maybe it was both. Maybe she doesn't even know. What I do know is that "I don't owe you loyalty" became "I need your help" real fast when consequences caught up with her. And while I feel bad that she ended up in a scary situation, I don't regret walking away. You can't build anything real with someone who doesn't respect honesty or recognize responsibility to the people they're involved with. People keep asking if I regret sending that message to Alex, if I feel responsible for how he reacted. The answer is no. His reaction was his choice, driven by his own issues that existed long before I came into the picture. All I did was tell the truth. What he did with that information revealed who he already was. I learned that sometimes karma isn't about revenge. It's just about truth catching up with people who've been avoiding it. Claire avoided the truth about Alex's behavior, avoided the truth about what she was doing to me, and eventually all those avoided truths collapsed on her at once. I also learned that you can feel sympathy for someone who's in a bad situation while still maintaining boundaries about what you're willing to be dragged into. Claire needed help that night, and I pointed her toward the right resources. But I didn't owe her my protection or involvement beyond that, especially after how she'd treated me. The last I heard, she's doing better. Safe, in therapy, building a new life somewhere else. I hope that's true. Not because I want to reconcile or stay in touch, but because nobody deserves to live in fear, even people who've made terrible choices. As for me, I'm more careful now about people who can't give straight answers about what they want, about people who keep their options open instead of committing, about people who say loyalty is optional instead of fundamental. Because here's what I know. If someone tells you they don't owe you loyalty, believe them. They're telling you exactly who they are and how they'll treat you when things get complicated. And when things inevitably do get complicated, don't be surprised when they show up asking for the loyalty they claimed they never owed you. Edit 1. For people asking why I let Claire in that night, I know it was stupid. In the moment, she looked genuinely terrified, and I made a split-second decision. Would I do it differently now? Probably. But I pointed her toward actual help and set boundaries, which is the best I could do in that situation. Edit 2. Alex's trial is still pending as far as I know. I haven't been asked to testify since I didn't witness any of the harassment directly. Claire's the primary witness along with neighbors and co-workers who saw his behavior. Edit 3. Yes, I probably should have contacted Alex sooner instead of waiting a week. I was processing my own feelings and didn't think through the implications fast enough. It's something I'd handle differently if I could do it over.